Fancy managers, hello and welcome to the FPL Addicts podcast Game Week 16 preview show, sponsored by Bonus Bank and powered by Esports Live. If you're new around here, make sure you give our podcast or video some love with a like, a rating or a review. If you're watching on YouTube, definitely get involved in the comments and make sure you give us a subscription. That would be absolutely spot on. It is the last podcast before the World Cup. I was about to say before Christmas then, but it is before the World Cup. We are only 9 days away from kickoff, which is unbelievable, but we are 110% committed to FPL for this weekend to make sure that, number one, I stay top of the league, and number two, that we get through this with as many points as possible. And we're going to work together to try and find a way. It's in already.
Mate, and if you are watching along at home, guys, you know, there is a new FPL Addicts drinking game. Every time Jack mentions that he is the top of the league, you take a drink, and I'm sure you'll be smashed at the end of it.
Sorry, lads, I've only got water for the evening. I did my drinking before.
Have it.
No, mate, it's too early. It's too early for me for you to be mentioned in your top of the league. I'm on the Red Bull as a result. I can't take it, man.
This is it. We've got to get through the podcast somehow. So if you're watching along, take them shots of whatever you're drinking and enjoy it. It'll get better and better as it goes along. But with me in the studio live for Game Week 16, we do have our two regulars at the moment. These boys have been on some fine form in the podcast. So Chaz, how are you, buddy?
Good, thank you. And I'm glad to be classified as a regular because I've come on last few weeks and the shows I've missed out on, I've felt the loss and the hurt of not being on.
Yeah, serious FOMO.
So that's just the way it is. Considering we were expecting everyone on this last one, geez, what a shame. It's reduced by 50%. It's like a Boxing Day sales. Everything's reduced by 50%. So it's tragic.
That's it. And the third member of the podcast on today, the Reverend. How are you doing, buddy?
Oh, mate, I'm doing good. All the better for having a bit of banter with you guys and discussing the game that we love the most, a bit of FPL. You know, it's been a very difficult season, let's say, so far. But you know, this has kept my spirits up despite some terrible scores.
Yeah, we've been. We haven't exactly been in great form, have we? Collectively, for FPL, but we are having a great competition between ourselves as well. But we will get into that a bit later. As we said, it is the last game week before the World Cup. We've got obviously a lot of stuff to get through, but thank you for joining us. If you are new around here, we've got John Jack. He's new around here, new subscriber. Thank you for joining us, mate, and hope you do enjoy the pod.
Thank you, John. I must say, you're in it for a handful, just like every other episode. Oh.
Yeah. A lot goes on. There's a lot of nonsense, more so, and there's about 90% nonsense and about 10% FPL. Colin has jumped in the comments as well. Thanks for joining us, mate. He is one of our Friday regulars as well. And he said, great to see Chaz has paid his electricity bill.
Colin, that is classic. That is comment of the week already.
keep them coming along. And do enjoy them. Let us know how you got on in Game Week 15 as well, and what you're doing for Game Week 16 and how you're approaching this.
A great improvement on the Blair Witch Project impression that Chaz was giving us last week, wasn't it?
It certainly was. It got a bit out of hand, didn't it, at one point? But let's get into a quick review before we get into the preview content. Obviously, some kind of big scores going on. Oh, and look at this. How late is he? He's 37 minutes late. We were due to start this half an hour ago. We did delay till 30 minutes past, and now he has arrived.
The man himself.
It's the man himself.
Really?
It's the shit man.
The shit man himself. Here we go. Christopher Reed, you're on the big screen.
I've only been on 2 minutes, Rev, and you're swearing at me already. Yeah, boys.
What's going on, Reedy?
Listen, unlike you, Dossers, I have a real job, so I was busy
Full-time FPL managers, mate.
Busy in a meeting. So yeah, I apologise for being late. I'm sorry. I owe you the time back, and if you want it, I'll probably give you it in 2026. So how are we, lads? How are we doing?
Yeah,
Good,
we're all
man.
good,
Good to
mate.
see
We're just
you,
saying
bro.
how excited we are for game week 16 and obviously onto the World Cup. But good that we've got 4 of us, so we're not doing too bad now out of the 6. So happy days. We're just getting on to the review, a quick review from obviously game week 15, and then we'll move on to how we got on as well in our FPL league and all our teams. Obviously, I'll go to like maybe that City game first, grabbing that last-minute winner. Haaland, will he play, won't he play, came on for 26 minutes. And of course, he got the winner against Fulham after they put up a brave performance. Andreas getting the goal for Fulham. Alvarez, obviously, quite a few managers brought him in as well as that replacement for Haaland. And both men were getting on the score sheet. But were you surprised by this result, Rev?
I was surprised, and not in the sense that Man City won, but in the sense that it wasn't an absolute cricket score. And I think the main thing that contributed to that was obviously the Cancelo red card. The fact that City was still able to dominate that game in terms of the game states that they still managed to create, even with 10 men, just shows how good Man City are, shows how far ahead they are of every other team. And when Cancelo was sent off, you could hear the collective sighs of every single FPL manager around the world. It seems like we all own him. But one of the funniest points about that Cancelo red card for me is the fact that loads of managers thinks that he's suspended this week.
That's it. That was going to be
but he's not.
point on that one. On that next one, then there's a lot of confusion about it and why. Obviously, he wasn't. But his red card has been clarified for the EFL Cup, right?
Yeah, and that means like hopefully he'll be well rested for the upcoming game as well. Like, and mate, I swear down, if Foden doesn't start the next game, I'm starting a Pep out campaign. I'm like just so he stops trolling us, man. Because Phil Foden, came on with Haaland, and then Foden and Haaland, they were both rested in the League Cup as well. So I'm expecting them both to start, and I'm crossing my fingers and my toes, mate.
Yeah, they are absolutely primed. And back to that Cancelo point, 252,000 managers have transferred him out already.
What a madness.
So obviously a lot of them not realising, even though generally there is a flag on there for them to warn them. But elsewhere, let's move on then. We'll go to, how about, where is he? Arsenal with that 1-0 win. Obviously, Chaz, you're the Arsenal fan on this pod. Getting that away win against Chelsea, you must have been buzzing about that one, mate.
It's just give me one, man. Saliba! Yes.
There it is.
At the bridge, I must say.
Oh, God.
Build to believe.
That's a great
really
result. It's a great result.
I really like how the players and the manager got around the fans after the game too. I've never seen so much connectiveness within an organisation such as that in a very long time, especially at a massive football club such as Arsenal. So it was a big win. I really liked the way how we played the first half too.
Got to his mullet.
There you go. Yeah, I wasn't at the away end. I was still deported and stuck in Melbourne like I have been all my life. But 1-0, you wouldn't complain.
Yeah, not bad from Arsenal on their assets there. I did see something on The Athletic just posted about half an hour ago, and it says only one team in Premier League history have failed to win the title after accruing 34 points in the first 13 games.
And was that us?
No, it was Newcastle.
Oh,
was Newcastle. I was going to say Newcastle.
Yeah. So, yeah, you've got obviously United on there a couple of times, City on there 3 times, Chelsea on there, Liverpool. So it is Arsenal.
I feel like Kevin Keegan every week thinking about you and your FPL team, Jack. I'm like, I would love it if I beat him. I would love it if I beat him. But it never happens.
It never happens.
The red dream of beating Jack.
And that's how far my standards have slipped,
Rev, that's about as good as your triathlon sharks reference from last week.
Oh, mate, yeah.
Days.
I'm still training for it though.
All right, moving on. While we've got Reedy on the pod for once, Reedy, big win against Spurs, mate. 2-1 win. Like, obviously, Spurs we know are maybe crumbling a little bit just towards this, last couple of weeks. But Salah, the return, he's made the thumbnail for game week 16.
I was going to say, Reedy, where's your background? Where's your King Mo background, mate? Where's it gone?
It's not in there this week,
The Burger King. He's back already. We're 10 minutes in.
Strikes again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wasn't ready for the Mo Salah background this week, but I mean, I'm happy. Obviously, we won. 2 goals for him, and those words that everyone's been saying whenever he scores or does something in a game. Oh, he's back.
He's back.
He's never going to be back until he goes on a hot streak again, which we haven't seen yet this year. So, yeah, we got the win. Spurs, standard Spursy, as usual. They put some pressure on us at the end of the game, fair enough, and they hit the bar in the post. But yeah, I think it was a solid away win for us. And anyone who took Mo Salah out for KDB obviously suffered in that sense. So we're still in the mix. I mean, I did doubt that we're not going to get top 4. I pretty much put that out of my mind. But with the way the Premier League's going this year, Chelsea being so poor, Spurs not being great, United being, well, shit, basically. Then, we can get top 4. Newcastle in there, City and Arsenal. So, yeah, what do you think, Chazza?
Top 4?
About Liverpool?
Well, about top 4, mate. Generally, you think Liverpool, Newcastle, Arsenal, and City.
What are you on here?
Mate,
you're
I'm just trying to write my note for a captain's corner last minute. I think Liverpool 5th, if you want my honest opinion.
Don't lie to us.
Yeah, that's
Go
all.
for it,
I think Newcastle get 4th. I think Chelsea somehow sneak in too.
Oh wow!
No.
Well, what I can't tell in an FPL sense at the moment is whether or not this World Cup break is coming at the perfect time for Mo Salah, because he's been creeping back into a little bit of form, and he has been getting some goals, and sometimes, like as Reedy said, he'll only be back when he goes on that hot streak, and now that he's just scored 2 goals against Spurs, he'll be wanting to play again for the next few weeks now. But the fact that the World Cup is coming, Reedy, do you reckon it's come too soon for him, or do you reckon the rest will do him good?
No, I think it's good, if anything.
It's good.
Yeah, I do think it's good. I mean, obviously, if he goes and scores a hat-trick on Saturday, people are like, oh, yeah, well, the World Cup's come too soon. We could have done with a couple more game weeks from him. But no, I think that what you've got to look at, although it's individually, we all think Mo Salah's this, amazing FPL player for us as he has been. Everyone in that squad, Liverpool team, needs a rest, needs to recharge, whatever you want to call it, and come back for the second half of the season. Because by no means after this World Cup is it going to be easy. There's going to be injuries. There's going to be players who go on, further on in the competition from all of our teams. Maybe not so much yours, Rev, but Onana got in the Belgium squad, so we'll let that one. We'll let you have that one.
And Connor Cody, mate.
Connor Cody. Well, there we go. Yeah. Connor Cody as well. So yeah.
Star-studded Everton.
Go on, Chaz.
Yes, mate.
I hate to interrupt, and I also hate being bamboozled at random times. But yeah, Everton are going to Sydney during the break. Are you considering tuning in via an online stream? You're up against Celtic and I think Western Sydney.
I mean, to be honest, I think the further away
stream from somewhere
Everton are from me, the better. So if they're in Australia, I can't think of a better location for them right now, considering we just shipped 2 at home to a struggling Leicester side who were 18th when we played them. So yeah, they can literally go to Australia, mate. I'm happy with that.
Yes. So on that note, and on Everton, obviously that was kind of the next point where
segue.
Yeah. Obviously, yeah. Where you at with them, Rev?
I just was really surprised by that result. Leicester really struggling.
It's a big shock, right?
They were sat at 18th in the table. Leicester have been awful away from home, and Everton have been amazing at home. And so to see us ship 2 goals, especially in the manner that we did, was really disappointing. And I think as well, like Everton, we need some serious goal scorers, like all around the pitch. You know, our midfield 3 in Garnagay, in Onana, and in Alex Iwobi, they're all like good individual players, but none of them are like great goal scorers. You know, in the same way that you might see, you know, obviously Man City, the prime example. Like any of their front 6 can get 1 or 2 goals. You know,
in all fairness, Yuri Tielemans has scored an absolute thunder bastard again.
It was
Wolves, and
arguably the best goal I've ever seen. Yeah,
Tielemans is there.
Yeah.
So, you know, I know you're saying about the conceding the way you did. I can't remember if I've seen the Harvey Barnes one, but yeah, all right. Defending you have been solid at home, especially when, you know, the last home game you played, you beat a Palace team that have been actually decent 3-0.
Yeah.
You know, and then you go and get the draw into Fulham away. You come back home probably feeling a bit confident, if anything. You know, you can get a result, and Leicester have kind of turned it round. It just goes to show, though, as well, going back to, I don't know if I mentioned it or it's been mentioned by someone about Rodgers being sacked at Leicester. And I don't think that he was the issue. I never thought that. And I thought that considering he's not been given the backing and the funds to spend, he's done amazing to keep the dressing room.
Well, he's shown great character.
Great character from everybody.
He's got great character.
Of course.
On the obviously you were touching on your bagging Leicester out, being that they were 18th before kickoff, but there was only 3 points that separated you guys, and now you're below them.
All right, you don't have to mention that as well, mate. It's just
I was thinking,
you know, mate,
it wasn't that big of a shock,
if we're going to talk about Everton's problems, we'll be here all day. We'll be here all day. In an FPL sense, FPL managers, Everton are absolute poo-poo. Don't trust us as far as you can throw us. And you can throw us all the way to Australia as far as I'm concerned.
Only 4 points in the last 5 games for Everton.
Shocking.
And Leicester have actually picked up 10 points in the last 5 games. So definitely a turn of fortunes for Leicester. And they are in form. If anything.
James Maddison suddenly remembered that he wanted to go to the World Cup. And
good time to turn it on, right?
Didn't he? Yeah,
good time to turn it on. And Madders has got that. He obviously got 2 assists in that game. Well done for those who picked him or kept hold of him during that period when he was suspended and coming back as well. So well done to FPL managers there, and a good little pickup. Obviously, we'll just touch on United. Horrendous. Leon Bailey fuming. He got that goal. He got
such
that
an
goal
FPL troll.
He probably would have played for me in my team if I didn't get rid of him, and he would have got that goal. Obviously we played him in the EFL Cup and got our kind of revenge, if anything, in that one with a 4-2 win. But shocker from United and a little bounce for good evening from Unai Emery. So good result for him. Aston Villa assets though, potential possibly. We talked about it when obviously got that win after Stevie got sacked. And Bailey was obviously mentioned in there, and Watkins got the goal in the EFL Cup this morning. Good, or last night, wherever you are.
I think the thing with Aston Villa is, like, in terms of in an FPL sense, there's so much emotional damage that we've already received from players like Luca Dean in the past, who's just been an absolute troll, and even Leon Bailey, to an extent, has really hurt FPL managers so far this season. And so, are we ready to embrace potential pain again is just the question that we have to ask ourselves. And I think Aston Villa's fixtures, like, correct me if I'm wrong, that they are a bit difficult for the next couple.
Let's have a look. They've got Brighton at home. Brighton away, sorry. Then they've got Liverpool, Tottenham. Then they've got Wolves, Leeds, Southampton, Leicester. So in that Wolves game... Three tough ones, I guess.
Yeah.
Next 3.
Yeah, so in that Wolves game, we can definitely have our eye on someone like Leon Bailey to just come in and just be a really cheap enabler for us.
Yeah,
and I'm really struggling for defenders at the moment. like we've got our three obvious ones. We've got like an Arsenal defender in White or Saliba, and then we've got Trips and Cancelo. You know, if we ever did want to play a 4-3-3 in FPL, I'm really struggling to find a fourth defender and to go into game week 17.
Me and you are really struggling this season in general in FPL.
Yeah, it's fair.
Hey, Rev,
yes, mate.
I'm not going to say the name, but I'm just going to give a subtle hint to you. The hot tip.
The thing is, after the World Cup, though, so for those of you who don't know what Chaz is talking about, you know, I've been banging the old Perisic drum. After the World Cup, though, Kulusevski and Richarlison could be back. So Luka Dean could be the one, man. He could be the one. And I could be ready to get hurt again.
Clearly, you're on Red Bulls. That's all I'm going to say, man.
There, Rev,
I've been smoking the devil's lettuce, mate.
Yeah. Obviously, we just touched on a bit of Rev's hot tip there, and obviously jumping the gun a little bit in the order that we like to do things. However,
sorry, Jack, I'm really sorry.
There's I'm going to get a fine sheet out soon. However, let's get into our team reviews. Well done for getting your screens ready, lads. So I'll just bring it up on here now instead. So bottom of the ladder, 61 points. A great week from Reedy. 61 points, Reedy. Go for it, son.
Oh, God.
-8 in there as well.
Yeah, there we go. So that takes me down to what, lads?
53.
Bang on average again. That's what I have been this season, average.
Bang average.
So, yeah, Diego Dallo, what is he doing? An absolute spoonhead. You know, I mean, why have I got him in anyway? That's the main thing.
When did you bring him in? Did you bring him in this week? For game week 15?
I think someone stole my brain and literally just stuck it in the bin because I made two moves and I took out Trent and just go down a bit there, Jack. It was Trent and Andreas. The week before I had two transfers. Yeah. I think I had two, or maybe I didn't. Yeah, whichever. And I've brought in Trossard and Dallo. I've brought in a player that's on 4 yellows and was playing against, obviously, Villa away, new manager. And it didn't work out. Same with Trossard, 5 points. If I'd have just played Saliba and kept Andreas, I'd have got 14 points and I wouldn't have been minus.
Oh, God, that's Saliba on the bench. Oh, my God.
Exactly that. So, yeah, Payne again. Castagna doing a solid as usual, getting his clean sheet against Everton. Newcastle. I mean, it was a bit of both, wasn't it? Trippier, clean sheet, assist coming off before the goal. Pope obviously losing out 4 points when he conceded, so that wasn't great. But Saka was decent before he went off injured, right? So
yeah,
that wasn't.
And then Reece Nelson came on and got all of his goals.
Yeah. So that wasn't great, but I think of that midfield. Yeah, obviously Mo Salah was the saving grace of the game week. 15-pointer. Haaland and Foden came on for a cameo, and Haaland slotting that penalty. But then, for some reason, taking his top off and losing us 2 bonus points. So cheers for that, Erling. But yeah, Callum Wilson went off injured or went off at half time because he's had the sniffles lately. So we didn't get any points for that one and that move. So yeah, generally 61 points. It could have been a lot worse, but the -8 certainly didn't help and took me down to the average score. So
yeah, it's good. It's good that you got such obviously a good score. We've taken those hits again. Obviously, the hit man is back. Taking what's that now? 3 hits in the last 2 weeks. Love it, Reedy.
Oh, I'm playing a dangerous game, Jack. I need to rein it in.
You're back. I love it.
But yeah, 61.
61 overall. My screen isn't working here. Why is it not going back? Here we go. So you are 10 points behind next place, which is the Reverend himself. 60 points he got this week, 798 points overall, so not quite in the 800 club just yet, but 60 points, took a -4, leaving him on 56, 3 points above the average. The Reverend, go for it, mate.
Yeah, I think it was like a decent game week, but I think it's one of them where I would have just been better off not making any transfers again. So I took out Zaha for Almiron. Obviously, Almiron scored, but Zaha scored as well. And in hindsight, that was probably a bad move. And then also brought in Callum Wilson as well, who went off because he needed a hot water bottle and a Lemsip. So yeah, just really average game week, really average. My defense is great. I think one of the things we do need to consider going forward is could Trippier just be a genuine captaincy option sometimes as well? Like, because he does have the assist in him, he does have the clean sheet in him, and also like he always gets taken off around 70 something minutes. And Newcastle only tend to, like, statistically, Newcastle just tend to concede late if they do concede as well. So it's likely that Trips isn't even going to be on the pitch when they concede. So he gets those clean sheet points banked, and then he's a bonus point machine as well. So that's something that I'm considering at some point in the future. Nice. If I need to play some catch up and get some points out of Trips. But other than that, Foden needs to do something for me this week, just for my sanity, mate. Because he's been a like a proper Burger King reference. He's been a whopper, and so I just want him out my team as soon as possible. Even if he bags a hattie this week, he's still going out on my team in game week 17 because I can't deal with that flip-flopping anymore,
Yeah, fair enough, mate. Obviously, Foden not hauling since game week 10 when he scored a goal, got an assist against Southampton for 11 points plus the bonus too. Not done much in the last, not a lot of football in the last three game weeks. No. Moving obviously into this next game week, I think quite a few of us own him as well. So it'd be I think we're all looking for a big haul from him and a big return, and show us what he's made of before he goes to the World Cup. Anyone else? Anything else in there in your team, mate, to report? Obviously, you left 6 on there with Andreas, but I can't see how else you would have got around that. But nice one with you as well.
Yeah, I mean, there was no real other option to bring him on. I think one of the things that I think me and you are quite happy about, Jack, is the fact that we've just got Kane just ticking over in the background, like time and time again. He's just like he's doing all the quiet stuff. I think if he scored a hat-trick one week and then didn't score the next 2 weeks, I think he'd be like 50% owned. But the fact that he's just getting a goal every week, he's totally under the radar at the moment, and I'm loving having him in my team, just literally propping up the rest of my team. It's pretty crazy, isn't it, with
Harry Kane, because I'm just looking now, he's second goal scorer ahead of Mitro, so 11 goals he's scored in the Premier League this season, and a normal season out of 15 games. What a return that is, along with
amazing, absolutely ridiculous form.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. So let's move on. So Mikey's sitting 5th out of 6 in there. Ollie got 64 this week, sitting on 819 points, so 21 above the Reverend. So a bit of catching up to do in this next game week. So well done to Ollie. Another kind of good score from him. And this is a good one, a belter actually. He still got a good score. So over to Elliot, who's sitting 4th. He did captain Cancelo this week, who got the red card. So he did it with a -4 in there. So obviously he was gutted with that one, but he did score pretty well elsewhere with the likes of Zaha, Trips, and Salah, along with the Saka and White scoring as well. So he kind of got lucky in a way. But yeah, Cancelo with a -4 captain's armband. It was such a good fixture to captain him on as well, as a bit of a gamble.
It was a great shout.
Yeah,
and I think he was even mentioned in the captain's corner as well as a potential little differential captain pick.
Of course it was. Of course it was. He only picked the CC with Chaz. He only picks good ones, right?
Yeah.
So
it's about time we saw Chaz miss, to be fair. He's been on fire with it.
I do feel like Chaz is floating at the moment, because he has found himself in second position in the podcast mini league. Now, he was a relegation candidate for the first 6 to 8 weeks, and we were thinking, what have we done bringing this guy into the podcast league? But he is showing what he is made of with balls of steel. Chazza Roberts, 63 points this week. Absolutely nailed it. He captained decent, but players elsewhere that wild card one with Miggy coming in. He finally brought him in, and obviously he's been reaping the rewards of that last couple of weeks, haven't you, mate?
And to be fair, I like my midfield, and that's sort of about it. Haaland got his assist. Andreas China with a goal. Saka with an assist. De Bruyne with an assist. Amaron with a goal. And Zaha thought, just from the little girl in the Mexican taco ad, why can't we do both? So we'll just deliver a goal and an assist, and there you have it. And Trippier with a massive 12 points.
Hang on, what Mexican ad are you on about?
So why not?
You've been watching Mexican TV ads. What's going on?
I do have my
Mexico
spare
in the World Cup.
You're not wrong. The only disappointment is benching Ward away at Everton for a clean sheet. However, I would have expected Everton to score, but they didn't. And as well, I didn't expect Wolves to score 2 goals out of nowhere. And that's exactly what occurred. But can we put into consideration, I just want to say this once only. There's only 1 point separating Elliot, Ollie, and myself at the moment. That's it.
Yeah, love it, mate. I'm just going to touch on your moves for this from last week. What you did? You did the sideways, didn't you? Went Salah to KDB.
Yeah.
And then you did DCL as well, right? And obviously now you've been hampered with the injury of DCL, so you've been burnt a little bit.
Yeah, and as well, I lost out on the Salah move, which, of course, it's going to happen. Like, you're not going to win every single move. Now, I think Salah did exceptionally well against Tottenham, and I'm probably not going to own him at home to Southampton, and I'm worried. But De Bruyne against Brentford, he did well last season. I'll touch base on it very later in my own segment, but
nice.
Can't have everyone.
You can't have everyone at all, mate. But well done this week. A good score from you. And that leaves you 10 points behind me, who top of the league still. Giller's Killers going into game week 16. Everyone take a sip.
Yeah.
Reedy, have you got a brew?
Chris forgot the memo.
No, I'm waiting for me delivery, so once it gets brought to me, a chai latte will be hitting my lips sometime soon. So
you're getting a chai latte delivered to you?
Delivered.
Well,
from the kitchen
bougie little
person.
When I say delivered, it's by the missus. Don't worry, I've not ordered one. I'm not that sad.
I was going to say, like, use Uber Eats and
chai latte. I'm not that sad. There's a coffee shop down the road. Don't worry, you know what?
Fair enough. I'll let you off then.
Yeah. Listen, I think Jack described Chaz as floating. He's been gliding. He's been gliding along. He's just smooth criminal. I mean, do you know what? If he'd have hit the moves on, hit the nail on the head with the moves, and kept Salah, maybe moved. I mean, DCL, he's been on people's thoughts the last couple of game weeks, saying, "Oh, he's back now and he could go on a run. He's a good option," and he's let people down a little bit. But if he'd have went for someone else up top and just pick the right players, he could have got an absolutely crazy score. But you can't dwell too much on it, Chazza. You've still done really well, mate, and you're up there in second, snapping away at Jack's heels. It's happening soon, whether it's this week or whether it's after the World Cup.
We all know it's going to happen. I'm quite happy if I can get through this bit now, or even game week 15. Like obviously where I'm at now, I'm happy. But anyway, so 52 points. I did take a -4. Obviously, with the sending off there, we can sell on not great with the -2. Zaha, thought Rashi, obviously that Villa one I did fancy, a bit more from United, but not great. I did bring in Trossard, and I did the Wilson one, so 6 points between them two. So obviously +2 gain, not great, but nothing too exciting. I did leave White and Andreas on the bench, so 11 points plus Ward, but it was a tough call to make. I thought the team was pretty strong. To go without them players. But anyway, as you said a few times, you boys can't win them all. But still top, still standing. It's getting, like as Chaz mentioned, it is very tight in there now. Not many points separate us all. I mean, only 42 between the 6 of us. Now, that is a cracking league. It's a bit like the Premier League. You just don't know what is going to happen in this league, right?
Yeah.
It's good.
It's flipped massively, considering Ollie was pretty much like, calling himself, dead and buried. Not long ago, he was bottom, and then he's flipped and he's gone up to, I know it's 4th, but he's still doing better. Rev has gone from second to bottom. Chaz is doing well, and Jack's managed to, withstand any pressure at the top. So it is great. It is good. I mean, generally, we're probably not there's some FPL managers that we're talking in the 800 odd, 900 odd points who are absolutely smashing it. So we're by no means, we're not saying we're elite as such, but we're enjoying this period of being competitive within our own little league, aren't we? So that's what makes it fun. It
is the league to be in and the league to win. So yeah, excited for it. And if we go elsewhere now, so I've looked at, in our members league, we're obviously running a private comp. If you want to be in that, let us know. We can get you in for next season. But this week, the manager of the week in the members league for game week 15 is Tom Stones. So Tom Stones won our competition 2 seasons ago. He did win the members league 2021 season. He's back. His Fleetwood DAC team scored 89 points. What a score that is. 89 points. So he's climbed back up the ranks in that members league. I'm sure, as he posted on our Instagram, it is about time. He's obviously had a bit of frustration with that, but he's managed to get himself a good score and try and get himself back in the mix and make some gains for this week. The manager of the month was decided last week. So a big shout out to Danny Nguyen. 433 points he hauled in last month. So Danny is going very strong and very well in there and one to look out for. So congratulations to you. Elsewhere in our mini leagues, so in the members league, it's actually Josh Carnevale who is top of there, 953 points. So he is absolutely killing it. So that is 160 more than you, Reedy. So there's a big gap in there, mate. And he's 33 points clear in our mini league. And our mini league, obviously is a strong league as well in that members comp. So congratulations to you. In our public league, which is even bigger, Josh is top of that as well. He's 20 points clear, so he's done a double. In the women's, Mira still top with 935 points. She is absolutely smashing it still as well. And in our members head-to-head mini, which is a group of 16 managers going head-to-head each week, Josh is also top of that one. So he makes it a hat trick of first place positions. So he's up there now past Donald, who is very consistent, but Josh is on fire in the form of his life. In FPL, so he'll be buzzing, and he is a Chelsea fan. So if he can take anything away from game week 15, he's doing well in FPL and not on the pitch with Chelsea. So elsewhere, Bonus Bank, our sponsor for this season, last season as well. They've got their fantasy football tool that you can use to try and climb up your mini leagues. They have gathered all the percentages and all the odds from all the bookies, and they come up with a probability on clean sheets and also goals, to score in games as well. So the top 3 teams to keep clean sheets based on the probabilities of bookies promotions, bookies odds. In third place, Arsenal, 41% chance against Wolves away. 40% chance of a clean sheet, Chaz. Is that fair? Or do you think it's more? Do you think it's more likely to get a clean sheet this week against Wolves?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Sorry, I only just got up to the document. Well, we won 1-0 there last season, and I know Wolves don't tend to score many goals, so I reckon that's reasonable.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. And even with those Wolves double, but they're still not going great in there, of course. Liverpool in second place. Reedy's Liverpool, 45% chance against Southampton. Undoubtedly, they've had a lot of clean sheets in the past against Southampton. But Reedy, do you think that's a fair shout, or do you think it's more likely that they're going to get a clean sheet, or is it less?
No, I think it's definitely a fair shout, and I think generally every time Bonus Bank have given any clean sheet stats this season, they've been pretty much spot on. It's just the Liverpool don't turn up or are rubbish in when it comes to the defending. So yeah, I like that. I think we've got a very, very good chance. New manager for Southampton, so that's the only thing to worry about. The manager bounce and so on. But we've got that win against Spurs now. So yeah, don't see why not.
Yeah,
I think it would just be typical Liverpool though to win against Spurs away and then to absolutely chuck it at Southampton. Like when you beat Man City week after you lost to Forest. Last week you beat Spurs. This week,
yeah, nothing would surprise me.
We could see another shock result. But
yeah, nothing would surprise me. But I think that the addition of Ibrahim Konate, we saw it against Spurs. Aerial duels, winning them, and going in for the tackles. Yeah, we conceded, but it was a decent finish, tidy finish by Kane. In all fairness, otherwise, I think we'd have walked away with a clean sheet. So Konate being back definitely improves the chances of the clean sheet. That's for sure. So yeah, I think I'm more confident with that stat and the bonus bank of throwing in there. So I think it's a good shout.
Yeah, and just to note on that one, obviously Southampton have named Nathan Jones as the manager from the Championship. So who knows what could happen there? He's obviously a talented manager. He's been given his chance in the Premier League. Big job to do at Southampton. But top for clean sheet probabilities, 50% chance for Manchester City against Brentford. And then finally, just players to score. Third place, Alvarez, 49% chance of scoring. Mans is on fire as well, and he knows where the net is. Mo Salah, 49% chance of scoring against Southampton, and 64% for Haaland, of course. Top of the ladder, top of the pile there for players to score. So I think we have some very likely candidates in there, and I'd say all three of them, probably going to score this weekend, so you won't be far wrong. But if you want to check out that tool, you want to use it, you want to have a look at it, jump on to our caption below on the link tree, and there's a button on there that you can click for the fantasy football tool. Check it out, and hopefully that can help you to determine what you're going to do with your signings this week if you are making any moves. But let's get into the preview. What I wanted to look at, lads, first in this preview is just the fixtures, and then seeing what the best teams you think to try and back, and then work out if there's any assets within those teams, the best assets to pick going into this game week. So if I just bring this up, and then we'll put it out and see what you think. Of course, the computer is delaying. Mikey, you've got Bournemouth away, Everton, the Evertonians, the Toffees. Is that a good fixture to look at or not?
Mate, well, we just lost 4-1 to them in the cup, so.
Hence why I started there. So I'm going absolutely not.
And we're away at home. We're away from home as well. It wouldn't surprise me if that game was 4-3 or something like that to Bournemouth. I think we are shocking away from home, but we know that Bournemouth are leaky.
I'll tell you what, Bournemouth then, is that not a good one to look at their assets? Obviously, Billing and Solanke in there. Are they assets to maybe actually have a look at?
Solanke and Billing, if you've got no other problems with your team, I think Solanke and Billing could be a very reasonable punt. But that is coming from a very pessimistic Everton fan, to be fair. But there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. So Reedy and Chaz, I'm going to ask you for one each as well. A fixture in there, a team to back, more of what you think is more guaranteed, and then maybe an asset within there. So Chaz, you go, mate.
Sure, no worries. I'm going to go straight to Nottingham Forest versus Crystal Palace. I really like Palace's attack, in fairness. I reckon Michael Elise looked very good away at West Ham last week. I reckon he could have a good showing away at the City Ground, as well as the iconic man himself who turned 30 yesterday in Wilfred Zaha. I think this could be... Yeah, he turned 30, yeah. I reckon he could have a good game. That's all I'm going to say.
I can't believe Zaha's 30.
The former Man United man, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I always think of him as young, though. I always think of him as younger than that.
Yeah.
Maybe just me.
It's because we always add him as a wonder kid on FIFA and Footy Manager.
And he's still a wonder kid. He's still got time.
Yeah.
Well, cheers for that, Chaz. Obviously, I know you're actually going to be a Crystal Palace fan soon, aren't you?
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that because I'm off to the Boxing Day game against Fulham, so I'm absolutely buzzing for that, to be fair.
I think you're going to coming back chanting, glad all over, yes, I'm glad all over, because baby, I'm glad all over, so glad you're mine. Say that you need me. You're going to be pumping that every week, mate.
Is it okay if I also add to the rules of the game, take a drink every time Jack sings, just so I can cope with it?
Drink away, my son. Drink away.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get my window sorted now because there's a few cracks.
Yeah.
just for the podcast, that one. But excited for you to go to Crystal Palace, mate. You're going to have the belt over time. Read it over to you, mate. What fixture are you picking?
Oh, God.
What team are you backing? Who are you backing?
What fixture? What team? Oh, there's obviously a lot of options here for this weekend. But for me, the standout one would probably have to be... I do really like the... I do like the Newcastle-Chelsea game. Yeah, I do like that one. I say we say standout fixtures and stuff. I think there's the fact that Newcastle have been in such good form. You know, their players are firing. They're so good defensively. And I think the Chelsea just looks so flat at the minute. If anyone needs a break, it's them more than anyone, more than any
Without
team.
James and Chilwell, they're just useless offensively, aren't they?
Exactly that. And Sterling and Aubameyang just aren't it, unfortunately at the moment. So I think Newcastle at home, last game before the World Cup, I think that definitely helps and adds to the atmosphere. And I think that, FPL managers in particular, who've got Almiron, Wilson, Trippier, obviously, Pope and anyone else. It's a great fixture to have them. So I like that one a lot. Who did you mention then, Jack?
Chris Wood.
Chris Wood.
Obviously, no flame from last season.
Came on the other week.
We are going to get some unsubscribers here if you carry on chatting wham about Chris Wood.
Yeah, sorry, mate. It was a bit of an old joke, that one from the last 2 seasons. We've had
And also, right, listen, in all fairness, he came on last week for Wilson. I was like, oh God, what are they doing bringing Chris Wood on? And then he bags,
He bags, mate.
Sharp turn.
Chris Wood scores goals.
He's been
Chris Wood scores goals.
Oh, no. Said no one ever.
Still don't pick him in FPL though. Just do not pick him in FPL.
Hey Jack.
Yes, mate.
I just want to say very quickly, you can just tell our podcast is genuine shambles when we look at these fixtures, and out of all the players we mention, it's players from Crystal Palace and Chris Wood.
You boys are picking the teams.
I'm surprised. Like the.
I can't believe Liverpool's not one. I can't believe Liverpool.
I can't believe you don't no one else is licking the lips at that Spurs Leeds game as well. Leeds just shipped 3 to Bournemouth.
Goals galore that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, Rev, Leeds are scoring goals, and I don't know, Spurs are, Spurs are Spurs at the moment. So
is that not a prime game for Harry Kane?
Absolute prime game for Harry Kane.
It is, but apparently.
See, this is why we've got a lot of nonsense on this podcast, because that was an open goal. You're going Salah for Liverpool, you're going Kane for Tottenham, surely.
Look, Rev, I hate to break it to you, but the Spurs Leeds game, it's all part of your hot tip, isn't it?
It is. Mate, I'm going to be banging this drum for the first time in a long time, for the first time in forever. I actually get to follow my hot tip. Take a drink. Mikey's sang a song. Yeah, I actually get to follow my own hot tip. So can't wait for it to finally go wrong. I've spent this whole season not taking my own advice, and now
on that note, Mikey,
yeah.
What is your hot tip for game week 16?
Here we go.
So Son is having surgery. Richarlison has had injury problems. Kulusevski, only made a return off the bench last week. So at the moment, Tottenham have to play like a 3-5-2. And the only other striker that they have to go into that position is Perisic. And so I reckon he'll be starting alongside Harry Kane. He hit the post against Liverpool and, could have had some attacking returns there as well. So there is potential for a clean sheet against Leeds, but also, Perisic, he could bag, a couple of goals or, a couple of assists quite easily in this game. So I just think, for me, Perisic feels like an absolute no-brainer of a move just for a 1-week punt. I can take him out when we get infinite transfers next week, because Kulusevski and Richarlison will no doubt be fit again. Son was just announced as well that he is going to the World Cup with South Korea, so he'll be back, but he won't be risked for this game. No doubt that he'll, because he is having some facial surgery. So yeah, Perisic feels like a no-brainer,
wow.
and if we can get some clean sheet points as well, that's a bonus, isn't it?
And we are slurring because we're drinking more. So
yeah, I'm only on the Red Bull. What's my excuse?
Take it easy. It's only nearly 11:30 in the morning. Yeah. Well,
yeah, mate. But have you seen my FPL score? You'd be drinking at this time as well.
So speaking of, obviously, there's a hot tip for this week, for game week 16. The Reverend has gone for Perisic, so look out for him, maybe a 1 week punt. What I want to talk about as well is a lot of people are going with your teams. Should we take more punts this week? Take a leaf out of the old Hitman's book, smash a couple of hits, because we can obviously then put a player in or find a differential to put in there that we maybe risk, because obviously during the transfer window, unlimited transfers like this wild card. Is that a good idea, Reedy?
What's your advice, mate? It's never a good idea, to answer your question. Sort of honestly, it's never a good idea, because let's be honest, as FPL managers, we should be thinking a bit more, optimally and being more sensible with our transfers and all the rest of it. But there are FPL managers out there that want a bit of fun and more excitement and taking punts and so on. So I don't think. I think this week, because it's a World Cup coming up, I don't think many people have got anything to lose in particular. So
here's your chai latte, mate.
There we go, just on right time.
Deliveroo.
God, just leave it on the side, love.
Yeah. So come on, great timing, eh? Great timing. But yeah, so I think a -4 could be justified this week. But if you want to play it safe and use the one transfer, then just do that.
Brilliant. Chazza, we'll go to you, buddy, while Reedy gets it in the neck, or his chai latte poured all over him. What do you think about using it, maybe a differential, or taking a bit of a gamble with your team, because obviously you can ship them players straight back out during the window?
Yeah, I'm going to be the most obvious Michael Owen you'll ever hear, but try and pick the player that has the most attractive fixture for one game week. I don't see it being worth a -4 hit for just one game week. I really don't. Just use the transfer, make the most of it, and voila, bon appetit, just like you get in a French breakfast. Just there you have it. And just roll with what you have. Enjoy your time off. But if you're playing the other fantasy game, then condolences to you.
Okay. Brilliant.
No, I shouldn't say that.
Okay. So elsewhere, injury bans and concerns. So obviously we've already mentioned a couple already. Son, he's down as a 0%, even though he is probably going to be all right for the World Cup, but he's still got obviously 9 days or so to get ready for that one. Wilson, he's got this, obviously the illness, 75% chance on. He's got the flag up on there. I'm not too sure what you guys think about that one. Obviously Dallow's got the suspension. Anthony's got a knock for anyone who did gamble on bringing him in. Is that 75% chance of playing? I'm not too sure where that's at now. Mitro with this 75% chance. He's got an ankle injury. DCL, obviously, who Chaz has got, he's out versus Bournemouth, not to return until obviously December. So that's your from the injury clinic, your latest update. Excuse me. Most transferred in players, Miggy still up there. 320,000 as of recording right now on Friday evening in Melbourne. Haaland, 204,000 players, managers have brought him back in. And Trossard still up there with 172. So a lot of managers still fancying him. So that's 2 weeks on the trot. He's been up there. Most transferred out, Phil Foden, 297k. A lot of managers have ripped it up, had enough of him. Mitro, obviously with the injury, 257k have transferred him out. And Cancelo, as we mentioned earlier, 250,000 managers have taken him out too, because a lot of people thought he was probably suspended, so and didn't think maybe the app had updated, so they got rid of him. So yeah, the Foden one is a surprise for that many. I know people got sick of him, Rev, but is that
this is prime, like a prime FPL moment waiting to happen. At least I hope it is, because it's going to be one of them where we'll talk about it for the whole World Cup, where everyone transferred out Phil Foden and Pep started them, and he got a hat trick. Like it's an FPL troll thing to just that should and would happen. And I'm only saying that because I've still got him in my team and I'm not taking him out. So he better do some bits. And I think if he was rested in the League Cup game, I think he's likely to start. that I hope I'm not hoping against hope, but I do think he is gonna come in, and I do think he's gonna get some attacking returns.
No, on you, mate. I think some kind of good ideas around that. Reed, I wanted to go to you because we've got a question from Coleman here. He's looking. This is a Liverpool one for you, so it should be nice and easy for you to answer. I'm looking at Firmino out for Darwin and Pope to Ward to facilitate it. Firmino is playing too far back for my liking. Would just like your thoughts. So I think this is a good one for you, mate, as the Liverpool fan.
Yeah, I think it's a good move. I think that a lot of people seem to be going from Mitrovic to Darwin. I've spoken to a few people yesterday that have done that move and made that move. Obviously the Pope to Ward to facilitate it. Leicester play this week West Ham away. So it is a bit of a tricky fixture. You'd expect West Ham to maybe get a goal, but the upside for Darwin is really good. He does look like at any moment he's about to go off, and hopefully for you, Colm, it's this week against Southampton. So yeah, don't hate that at all. And if you want to, you're taking that's the thing though. Actually, has he got 2 moves? Has he got 2 transfers, or is he taking a -4 for that?
Not too sure. He hasn't mentioned, but he did.
Sounds like he's taking a -4 though, doesn't it? Because if he's saying to facilitate it, I'm dropping
that's
down.
True,
yeah,
that's true. But he has got Ramsdale as his second keeper
as a person
well.
who has owned Darwin several times this season, I would just warn you that behind that door is only pain, my friend. Behind that door is only pain, and that's all I'm going to say about it.
But I think if he's got Ramsdale as well, that's good that he can play Ramsdale. He says he's got 2 moves. He's got 2 moves. So
2 moves, no hit. Yeah.
All right. Well,
happy days. That's
do it. Enjoy your 2-pointer, mate. It's all good.
Hey, don't be like that, Rev. Colm's a good guy. But yeah, I like that. I like that.
He knows.
Yeah, I like that move a lot. Yeah, I don't see why not. Darwin and then play Ramsdale, obviously over Ward, and it could be quids in there. Well,
yeah, the Reverend's learned his lesson. He'd be playing Ward over Ramsdale, wouldn't you, mate?
Yeah, too right. I think I finally got some Danny Ward points, even against my beloved Everton, because Kepa is out injured at the moment. I'm not sure. I haven't seen an update on Kepa at the moment. But at the moment, I am going to be playing Danny Ward again. I just can't get rid of the guy.
All right, elsewhere, Stephen Smalley, thanks for joining us, mate. He has jumped in and said his top tip this week. He wanted to bring his own tip in. He says is just for men to use that, except for Chaz because he's got a cracking mullet.
Whoa. Leave my silver foxness out of this, bro.
Shots fired at the Rev and a compliment to Chaz.
Yeah.
He's happy with that. He's smiling. I'll move on. Gary said he's going deep this week with Arsenal 3 players. Let us know which 3 players you are playing this week, Gary, and thanks for joining us as well. I think elsewhere, no, that was it on the comments on that one. Oh, no, it's Colm again. Colm's been very active tonight, so thanks for all your comments, Colm, and hope that helps from the lads giving a bit of advice there. I think that's covered quite a bit of this discussion. Was there anything else on discussion points, lads, before we move on?
Actually, wait. One more thing. Replacements for Mitrovic and / Calvert-Lewin.
Ooh, what?
There's only one guy.
Which replacements?
There's only one guy, and that is Dominic Solanke.
Solanke,
why?
Because they play Everton.
He plays Everton. So there's 2 things. He's actually done okay considering his price. Are you only making 1 move, Chazza?
I'm only going to go 1 move. What about Ivan Toney? Because I reckon he might rejuvenate himself after Southgate not calling him up to the England squad. I reckon he'll just be fine.
He could rejuvenate himself though, Chazza, by getting sent off because he's frustrated he didn't get in the squad. So you've got to be careful on that one. He is playing City as well, so
I think also like
what about Kiefer Moore?
The subject of a lot of negative media attention at the moment. So it's one of them where I think he could possibly just be a bit distracted.
To be fair, I completely forgot Brentford were playing Man City away from home. For goodness sake.
Yeah.
Don't go that.
Also, if Tony has a bet on, then
yeah, he's gonna have a bet himself getting sent off, so he'll purposely do that, won't he? But I think for you, Chaz, I think if you're looking to play a 3-5-2, I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah. Okay, so what about then in terms of we're talking about punts or it's the last game week and stuff like that? Can you not afford someone like Edouard for Palace? You know, considering you're nearly a Palace half and half, but Arsenal Palace. Edouard, do you not take your fancy?
I think he's a good shout. Yeah, at times, especially in home games, he's actually
got a flag on him as well.
He's got particularly decent goal involvement for Palace goals.
Yeah, he does have a flag over him at the moment, just to bear in mind.
Edouard,
good shout.
Yeah.
I think Solanke's probably the most informed one. I've just looking on forwards now of most informed, just to see if that's anything to go off. Obviously, Wilson's at the top there, but obviously then you've got the usual Kane and Haaland, and then you've got Solanke, you've got Mitro, Danny Ings, but I mean that fixture against Brighton isn't the easiest one. And then you've got Kiefer Moore from Bournemouth. Is Solanke and Moore both playing, or do they only play one striker?
I think they've been playing both up top recently, but Billing has been thriving as well, so he's kind of been chipping in with goals and assists, and I think that certainly helps Solanke. So I think there's not many great options. But
what about Alvarez?
If he gets the start, that is, and
Chaz going to be up? He can come on and score, eh?
Hasn't Chaz got 3 cities? He's got Cancelo, De Bruyne, and Haaland already, so he can't.
Yeah, can't do it. Got a team in front. Fair shout. Well, you have to maybe sit on that one and see. But Edouard could be a good shout out of them ones. So yeah, nice. I like that. Moving on, lads. If you've not downloaded it already, the EPL Live app, absolutely fantastic app. We are using it to view live scores, all the news as well. And you can get exclusive articles by our very own Chaz Roberts as well for his captain's picks. If you're not watching,
that's coming tomorrow morning. I've started planning. Thanks for asking, Jack. Really appreciate it.
No worries. Maybe the 6th reminder of the week to send me that, and then we can pass it on. But our very own Ollie Walker Peel has put up an article this week. So let me just have a look on here. So with transfer tips, he picks, and he has featured a team this week. We've been at Leicester City. Obviously, we mentioned them quite a few times on the pod. He's picked 3 players that are flying maybe under the radar to pick. So one of them players, I'm just going to reveal that, and you can check out in our link tree and also on the EPL Live app the rest of the article. But one of them players he has picked for this week, same guy. One of the guys in our panel, Big Man Reedy, has got this player, Timothy Castagna, 4.7 million. He's obviously a defender, 7.9% ownership, and he's the top 3 defenders in form so far in the Premier League at the moment. So he's back to his FPL best. We know what he's capable of. He's making up for lost time, having scored only 4 points from game week 2 to game week 8. He's now obviously smashing the points. He's got 47 points in 7 outings, including a 12-point haul against Wolves in game week 13. Vulnerable West Ham side up next against Leicester. So maybe Castagna could be the one to capitalise. So I know, Rev, you were looking at maybe a defender to look at. Castagna, Ollie reckons, could be the one for you going into the next game week. So maybe up for consideration. But yeah, check out the EPL Live app, built for football fans, built by football fans for football fans. And thank you for their support and sharing our content as well on there. So many thanks. It's got combines live scores with the most in-depth team and player stats alongside all the latest breaking news. As we mentioned, jump in the link tree, get that downloaded, and let's move on to the next one. We're going to go into the preview part of the podcast. And right, Chaz, go on.
I just need to say something extremely important right now, but Miguel Almiron got announced as the Premier League Player of the Month for October. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
I think Chaz is letting us know that his genius is just unmatched, and we still owe him several apologies for laughing at him when he wanted to bring him in on his wild card. And now I'm pretty sure Almiron's just in all of our teams, right?
Yeah, he is.
Wow.
Maybe making moves. He's still smashing it. I think a lot of managers out there I've still not got him, but because he's obviously still getting transferred in a hell of a lot at the moment. But let's get into the preview side of things. Transfers for this week. Chaz, let's go you, mate. Have you made your moves yet? Are you what's top of your head?
No, I haven't. Geez, I didn't realize you put me on the spot first up. Let's go. Let's switch it. So give me 1 second in 3, 2, 1. Bachine, if you go on the back, you can share my screen right now, Jack. Bang, there we go. All right, now let me scroll down. Part of the recipe. Here we go. And we are off and racing. Lights out and away we go then. So 1 free transfer with 1.9 million in the bank. It's got to have to be Calvert-Lewin out because I want to keep Mitrovic for Boxing Day vibes when I get there. So I reckon it's going to be Calvert-Lewin to a Dominic Solanke of all people, to be fair. That's about it. I'm comfortable fielding Andreas against Man United. I've got to a point now, so I'm not particularly hurt in getting rid of both of them. But out of one of them, it's Dom.
And Chaz, don't you worry about a thing, because Dominic Solanke, he's going to be all right. Oh,
thanks.
Take a drink, boys.
And why did I worry about a thing? Like Dominic was clear, and Solanke will be all right.
I think that isn't water in his bottle.
Yeah, it's definitely not, is it?
No, he's on the whiskey.
That's all.
He's on the Sambuca, mate.
I don't mind it, to be fair. That's all. Thanks,
Fair enough. The man with the chai latte, Reedy. How is the chai?
Lovely. Not more to say. It's fantastic.
Yeah, you weren't going to complain about that, were you? When your missus was getting it, yeah?
No, I kicked her out now though, so it's all good. No, in all
don't say that too loud.
Yeah, transfers. Let's just stick to
It'd be like
that
Key and Peele sketch where he's like, and I told her. And I told her, get my child.
You just see an object fly into the side of my head, and I just fly into the floor. So you have got to choose your words wisely. But yeah, so what was the question?
The question was, what are you doing this week for game week 16? What are your moves? Or are you rolling? What are you doing?
Well, I'm not rolling. I mean, there's one transfer left at the moment. Yeah.
So you're taking 6.
Oh, do you know what? It was going to be Foden. But why?
What's put you off?
Well, he's been rested, not played whatsoever in the cup against Chelsea. We're getting the leak's going to come because it's the early kickoff. I do think he's going to start this week, but then we anything could happen with Pep. He might. I do feel been a lot of rumours about him not training properly, so he's not going into tackles. He's been a bit because of the World Cup coming up, and I did notice actually in the City game v Fulham last week when they brought him on, there was a thing in the corner on the left hand side where he went to go for the ball, whether it was stretch or slide or something, and he was almost hesitant or decided not to, and straight away he looked over.
Yeah, I noticed that as well.
And I was kind of like, is there something to that? So I really don't know, and I think that Pep maybe is trying to either show him that he needs to be more committed, or by obviously not playing him, or he's maybe protecting him a little bit. We don't really know. But anyway, the team news, the league on Saturday, tomorrow is going to be pivotal. As we know, the FPL servers are an absolute delight. So
they'll just crash.
Sure, that should be fun. But that was my planned move. So now that's kind of in the air, if you like. I really, really don't know who to move out, because the team that I've got at the moment is actually okay. It's pretty decent. I'm struggling, boys. I'm struggling. I mean, give me some advice. I know that I haven't really asked for it much from you this season, but I might be better.
I wouldn't, to be fair. We're shocking.
Yeah, so I've put I've shared my team there, Jack. If you bring that up on screen, I mean, in terms of what I'm playing, it's going to be 3-5-2. I'm going with Doherty over Castagna. I mean, you talk about Ollie in the article and so on mentioning him. Is that the right decision? Because if Doherty doesn't play anyway, then Castagna comes on, or do you think it's just better starting with Castagna?
Click on Doherty. What's his minutes been like?
not great still. Not
Yeah,
great.
mate, he's coming as a sub. He could kill you there.
Yeah. So yeah, it's probably not a wise.
You got burnt the other week as well with Castagna, didn't you?
I did indeed. Yeah, I did. So maybe that's the better option to do that. But
mate, you know who you could go for because you've not got 3 City. Oh wait, there's that Ortega on your bench. Wow.
Listen, mate, I'm just going off camera.
He's turned this computer off.
Amazing.
I'm back, boys. Sorry.
What a move that was.
I just slapped myself in the face there just while I went off camera. So yeah, obviously I'm blocked from getting. I mean, I say I'm blocked. If you know me, if obviously I take a hit, then Ortega goes out, and then who else do I take out? I could maybe go for Foden, take him out still, and then who would I bring in? I still can't afford De Bruyne, really. It could be.
Well, I was going to say,
or not? No, you wouldn't.
I was going to say a Kanji.
A Kanji? What?
Yeah.
I don't want to do a defender move this week. That's 100%.
But if Doherty's not going to play, which I
well, I'll just go with Castagna.
He might not.
Go with Castagna then. Yeah, it'll just be Castagna.
Yeah, fair.
Surprisingly, I have sent something sensible coming out of my brain. Would you consider taking a hit so you get Foden out for De Bruyne in, and then Mitrovic down to Dominic Solanke, considering I've heard Mitrovic isn't playing this week?
Well, he probably, because it's Reedy, he'd probably go, if he was going to do De Bruyne to Foden, he'd probably go Mitrovic to Darwin, right?
It wouldn't happen, boys.
No, you couldn't have the Freemium and Saka.
No, look at the funds. So the funds don't allow it. It's 2.4 leaves me if I do that.
You'd have to go,
even with Wilson, it's still not possible. So unfortunately, De Bruyne is out of the question unless I move Salah out, which isn't happening. So I am actually really, really stuck. I think it's really tricky for me this week.
Right. Okay, I see.
On what move to kind of make. The only other thing I could do, I'm playing a 3-5-2. I think the midfield set, obviously based on the team league, if Foden's benched, then easy. There we go. We make the move and we go to either Eze or I'm not bringing in Zaha. That goes against all my religious beliefs, everything that So Zaha's not coming in. I'll continue to suffer pain.
What about Madders?
What about Elise?
Well, there was one other player that you've not mentioned. Well, Rev mentioned him before, actually, but that's Kulusevski.
Came as a sub last week. Did he play midweek?
That's a filthy shout.
I think he came on, possibly. He might have come on or got brought off. I can't remember which way round it was. But Kulusevski's obviously, he's 8 million. I could afford
I think his minutes are still going to be being managed, though, surely.
Yeah, I mean, there was a check on his hamstrings after the midweek game. I think the cup game against Forest, just checking if he was all right. But Kulusevski coming on, he played 22 minutes, got an assist for Kane. I think that's
Kula played 30. Came as a sub against
Forest. So I think that could be a decent shout. But if Foden is starting, then I really, really am kind of stuck for who I go for because I'm happy just having Mitrovic, Dalot on the bench. Doherty's the first sub. The only thing I could really do is potentially take one of those guys out to have a better sub on the bench. But in terms of making transfers, it's difficult because I've got 0.0 in the bank. Even if I take out the likes of Doherty, who would you bring in then? Here we go. This is probably the best question to answer.
I think it's just don't overthink it. Just possibly go Mitrovic to Solanke.
Yeah,
and just keep it simple.
It still doesn't solve the issue though that I'd then have to change my formation to a 3-4-3. So I'd have to bench someone then, and I'm not going to bench Saka, Martinelli, Trossard, Salah, or Foden, am I? So
yeah, because it's still quite an expensive midfield, really, isn't it?
Well, even Solanke could be your first on your bench.
Yeah, possibly. So I'll have a think. A lot of time to tinker. Deadline's actually, we're inside the 24 hours now, boys, to the final deadline for the World Cup. So
pressure.
The pressure's on, Rev. The pressure is on, mate. But yeah, I'll move on.
You mean the 23 hours and 50 minutes? Because that's all we get for the servers going down, don't we?
Yeah. Make it early, mate.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah. But I'll probably end up taking a -4, so I'll just give you the heads up now anyway.
Brilliant. The Hitman is back, baby.
Yeah. What about you boys? What's your plans?
All right, Rev, you're up next.
Yeah, I can't screen share.
That's all right, mate. So, what are you doing?
Yeah, I think my move at the moment, I've got money to burn in the bank at the minute, which obviously isn't great, but I think I'm going to go for Patterson to Perisic.
I'll tell you what we'll do, mate. I'll bring up your current team, right?
Yeah. My question is, who do I bench? That's my big question this week, and I'm thinking I'm possibly going to end up benching Almiron, which is just madness. Yeah. So Patterson to Perisic, and then play Perisic over Almiron, who plays against Chelsea. And go 4-3-3.
Yeah.
And I know it's quite dangerous.
Because you've got a good squad as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, similar to Reedy, you've got a good starting team anyway. And so it's quite tough to make that sacrifice. So you're going to sacrifice, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I know that I want Perisic for this week against Leeds, playing as a striker.
You don't consider dropping Wilson because obviously during that Chelsea fixture, and just have them two.
And
I mean, Miggy's in better form though, isn't he?
Newcastle home or away?
Home.
You can't drop Callum Wilson. He scores goals. You know what I mean?
He does score goals.
Scores goals.
What if he comes off with he comes off at half time, not feeling it again?
I don't know. I do like Callum Wilson. I think if there's someone I'm going to bench this week, it'll be Miggy. And I'll just have. Yeah, I know. I'll just have to bite the bullet.
Anyone watching now in the comments, would you drop Miggy or Callum Wilson? Obviously, the Rev is pretty set on bringing Perisic in, as we know.
The other option is to do a Reedy and bench Saliba.
Sacrifice the possible clean sheet.
Yeah.
And the bonus points that love him.
Well, exactly. Like, who do you bench? I can't just go Foden to De Bruyne because I don't have the funds.
Don't have the facilities for that big man.
I don't have the facilities. Yeah, I've done my quick maths and it doesn't happen. So, yeah.
A couple of tough ones then to make for you two.
Yeah, exactly, mate.
Jack, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'll get on to mine. So,
thanks for no help at all there, then, boys. Cheers.
Yeah, we provided you absolutely no help at all. It's what we do. It's what we do, innit? That's why it looks for people in the comments to go, "What would you do?" But in the comments there, Gary has jumped in, and Gary's gone Wilson off and Almiron in, so he's going. He's a Miggy fan. And Ospike has mentioned.
Do you not fancy Callum Wilson
the chance
against Chelsea?
Of a rest, less minutes for Wilson. I think you do Miggy. I think Miggy plays. I don't think you. I think Wilson's the one that you hesitate on. But as we know, FPL and Premier League, Wilson will bag a pen
just gonna
at
be
least.
Pain. Might just bench boost, get it over with.
Yeah, there you go. There's a solution.
Obviously,
take a hit and bench boost.
Yeah.
In mine,
horrendous.
I'm pretty stuck as well. If I'm honest, I don't know where to go. Probably might take Cresswell out and bring White in off the bench, and then midfield, I'm pretty content with. Birthday boy Zaha, I do like him against the Forest one. Rashi, I think he's in form. Obviously, bagged this morning as well. Foden. Yeah, I'm backing him. I'm backing him to play and backing.
Oh yeah, that's really tough. Really tough decisions for you there, mate. Anyway,
listen, when you're flying at the top of the league, mate, it gets easier. Confidence is going through the team, mate.
Everyone, Jack just mentioned he's at the top of the league.
Confidence flowing through the squad. Everyone's happy.
Unreal.
And then Trossard, he's staying where he is as well. So yeah, not too bad there. Not too bad. Guaita in goal. I'm still sticking with him. And that's it from me. I think captain picks. And on that note, let's go to CC with Chaz, captain's corner. He's ready.
2, 3. Oh, this wild, wild love of ours, it can't be Mickey, no. This wild, wild love is ours, it's Kane or KDB. Armband is better or worse, I'm guessing Mo's a curse. Or is it Haaland land? Oh, well, dun, 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 dun. Let's get into our captain's picks for game
When
week.
did we get FPL Pig on the podcast? Hey, that was
Oh,
he just did his own intro music.
Yeah.
I need to make it official.
I thought basically Chaz was just going to give Captain's Corner in song for the whole thing. That's what I was expecting just then.
I'm actually disappointed now that it's not.
All right. Can I start or what?
When I sort out what's going on here with the screens. There we go. Chaz, go.
Excellent. Thank you. So game week 16 captains. I don't really need to say a lot about the premium picks because I speak about them week on week. If I have to say it as it is in front of camera right now. But Erling Haaland, we will go. Yes, I most certainly can start. He hasn't blanked in all of his home games. He's just been dominant since the season's begun. 13 goals and 3 assists in his 7 home games for me Etihad. And this carried on thanks to his 95th minute winner against Fulham coming off the bench as well. So he's just a headline pick, as he always is every week. I think Brentford is a really good opposition as well. In that same game, we also have his Belgian teammate, as I mentioned most weeks, in Kevin De Bruyne, who did fare well in the corresponding fixture last season with 11 points in their City's 2-0 win over Brentford. He scored a goal as well as pick up maximum bonus points within that game. In game week 6, he's only blanked once. And within that time, he's had 2 goals and 7 assists. Mohamed Salah, the man who's all of a sudden come back in everyone's discussion point and only felt like yesterday he was just on the way out of everyone's shadow. In his last 5 home games against the Saints, he has scored 5 goals alongside picking up 2 assists, which his run within that time complements his dazzling record against Southampton in his 9 league games with 7 goals and 3 assists in that duration. He scored a brace away at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium with 2 goals coming from his 3 shots on target, which was the most of any other player on the pitch last Sunday. Saints have won just the one of their last 10 fixtures in all competitions. And before that time, their second last win came at home to Chelsea, which was a 2-1 win. He is the 4th most transferred in with 170,000 managers bringing his services back in all of a sudden. 5 of his next 8 fixtures are rated as a 2 in the fixture difficulty ranking, which includes this weekend's fixture. Harry Kane from Tottenham. Now, a lot of people want to talk about Perisic, but I'm just going to go back to the person that's ticking his points along. Rev has him, Jack has him, and so do many other managers around the world. He's scored and assisted in his last matchup against Leeds last season, in which was a 4-0 away win at Ellen Road. We know it's a different venue, but as well as with Harry Kane, he's only blanked once at home so far this season, and that was in the opening game week against the Saints, which is a very good run he's had, considering we're about to dwell ourselves into the World Cup period. And in his home games this season, he's had 8 goals and 1 assist in his 7 games. The final pick, Miguel Almiron, he's back again with yet another curveball pick. I think for Paraguay is extremely hard to ignore now. He's the most informed player in the competition with 50 points in the last 6 game weeks. In his last 7 matches, he's had 7 goals and 1 assist. His last 6 goals have come from his last 9 shots on target. And with Chelsea away from home, we sort of did see in Chelsea's last away league fixture, they conceded 4 at Brighton. And with Newcastle being 3rd and only having lost once on the top of my memory so far this campaign, I do forecast him to have another seriously good outing. That's all my captain's pick, all from your very own whiteboard here. Last minute, I'll win everything in life. Thank you for coming. for yet another edition. We'll be back just before Boxing Day.
Cracking stuff. Chaz, unbelievable as always, mate. And can you just relay those who are just catching up? Who are your captain picks for this week? Just reel them off.
Absolutely. And it's completely understandable people decide to snooze during this segment. I totally get you. Haaland, Kevin De Bruyne, both at home to Brentford in the early kickoff. But what does Muhammad Gandhi say? And what did my Instagram note say yesterday? Never back the early kickoff. Word of warning. Mohamed Salah at home to Southampton. Harry Kane at home to Leeds, as well as the Paraguayan himself and the Premier League Player of the Month for October, Miggy Almiron from Newcastle United at home to Chelsea.
Yeah, cracking stuff, Chaz. Some great picks, of course, and a lot of favourites in there. Hard to ignore the Miggy one, as you say. I think, if anyone, I'm going to bring him in this week. But captains from there. Reedy, who are you picking for captain this week, mate? You're on mute. Yeah.
I'm going to go with Mo Salah, I think. Mo Salah.
Rev.
I'm not going to overthink it. Nordic Meat Shield. Just lock it in. Don't think about it too hard. And then just go.
Until we see the league and he's on the bench. and then he'll be thinking very hard.
He was on the bench in the League Cup, and then he didn't even come on in that game. So I think he's he's all right now. And the thing is, he only needs half an hour. You can get two in that time.
He does only need half an hour. Chaz, who have you locked in for yours, mate?
To be fair, my lasagna only needs half an hour to cook. Too, to be fair. Haaland myself.
Oh, mate, there's so much love for Chazza in the chat as well about his Christmas number one, man.
Actually, no. So I actually want to give a shout out to a person. Her name's Alicia. I was at work today, and there's a couple of people that sort of asked me what I'm up to in my life, and I sort of mentioned, I'm part of this fantasy football podcast, and then she asked, what channel is it? And then said, it's FPL Addicts. I go on YouTube sometimes. Like, oh my God, you're on YouTube. It's like, yeah, I am. So I write it down, and then I send her the link, and now she eventually tuned in late on. So a big shout out to Alicia. I didn't really expect much support at all. So thank you very much for tuning in.
Charlie is out there. He's spreading the gospel. He's spreading the word of the pod. He's spreading that good news. Well done, mate.
Absolutely.
Good disciple.
And Alicia, while you're here, don't forget to give the podcast a like and also a subscribe as well. And thank you for joining us and supporting Chazza and the podcast. And as we mentioned, if you do want to get hold of Chaz's Spotify playlist, he will be launching that over the Christmas period with all his chants that he is bringing to the podcast.
I'm looking forward to his Christmas duet with Mariah Carey. But,
mate, I heard the rumour he was doing Celine Dion.
I mean,
singing, not doing
everyone wants to work with him. To be fair, everyone wants to work with Chazza. He's hot property right now.
All about the collab. And speaking of working with Chazza, the FPL Addicts are going to be doing the FPL Social. That was launched yesterday. So the FPL Social is back in February. So if you are in Melbourne, it is coming back to Melbourne on 18th of February 2023. We will be doing a little preview podcast for the FPL Social probably after the new year. However, in that meantime, Chaz, are you excited to third installment, get your third cap for the FPL Social?
I just love the event, to be honest. Regardless whether I'm part of a hosting capacity or not, I just think it's a fantastic day out where you just see a bunch of like-minded fantasy managers. You do activities, you listen to people's insights. It's amazing. I don't really need to say a whole lot much.
Yeah, couldn't put it better myself. And you'll be having your own little mini social with the lads in the UK when you're over there visiting. Not too sure if there's a fantasy football fest going on or a meet up at that point. But you are doing your own little meet up in the UK.
Now, look, I know it's a horrific decision. I decided to prioritise going to an Elton John farewell concert as soon as I get back over a meet-up 4 months in advance. It's horrific. Terrible.
Terrible stuff. And obviously that's the FPL Social, so make sure you do check that out on Instagram and also on Twitter. fplsocial.com. You can get your tickets now. Early bird is now open, full of activities like Soccer M challenges, special guest appearances from FPL content creators here in Australia. Fantastic day. Sydney was absolutely incredible. I'm back to Melbourne in February in the new year. But I do want to touch on, just very quickly, it is the World Cup. We are going to be doing, obviously, a couple of you guys are going to join us for some football on the World Cup show that we are launching. You don't have to be playing fantasy football. We do want to cover the World Cup content in as a whole and enjoy the World Cup for what it is. But then there's also the fantasy football element of it as well. So even though we won't be in Qatar, we'll be enjoying it as best as possible. And watching, cheering on both the Socceroos and England, as well as looking at a few of the other teams and some of the world's best players, who some of them are playing their last and final World Cup as well. So it could be great to see and be involved in. If you do want to join our World Cup Fantasy Mini League, the public free entry one the code is QFO63SEV. You can get that in the caption below as well as on our link tree. So join in, have a bit of banter, have a bit of fun, and enjoy the World Cup. We'll also be joined by a couple of content creators with FPL Amateurs of Oz, Quentin, and also Peterson from FPL SideNet, who are a couple of content creators out here in Australia. So absolutely fantastic. And maybe some celebrity guests, ex-pros as well, and likes of maybe Lloyd Owusu for his Ghana insight, maybe joining us as well. As well as I've got a former Welsh under-21 who played with Gareth Bale coming on as well. So a couple of little appearances. When we'll see who else will be joining us. But I think that is a wrap. We have gone on for a while tonight, an hour and a half we've had this podcast. So thank you for staying with us if you are still with us.
Thanks, Chaz, for not going to sleep as well, mate. I know you do love your bed as well, mate. The commitment's unreal.
Ben, I could have stayed out, but I love coming on here every time. I won't lie. I love it.
You are a champion, mate. And obviously, thank you for all your contributions today. I do want to give a shout out again to our sponsor, Bonus Bank, Australia and New Zealand's fastest growing side hustle. Make sure you check them out if you haven't already. Details in the caption below. You can get 25% off your first premium month with Bonus Bank. We know a lot of you have joined already. So if you do like to take advantage of Bookies promotions, you can do so on there. It is free to join and free to use. But if you do want to go to the premium to open up more features, use the code FPL Addicts on there to get that 25% off your first month. But thank you for joining in. Obviously, a lot of new people joined and subscribed during the podcast as well. So thank you very much. Thanks for jumping in the comments. We've had a great show, lots of discussion, and it is the last one before the World Cup. It is this break on here, but we will be back with the World Cup content. So please do join us on there to keep up to date with everything that's going on. And the FPL, the Premier League content will be back in December at some point if we're sober enough. So we'll see on there, but on the socials we will be active. Chaz, was a final word on there, mate? You had your finger raised.
Yeah, I do. Look, I'm just going to be honest, okay? I'm just going to say it as it is. Guys, stop laughing, please. I'm going to take... of course, I'm still going to play FPL, but within this month duration, I'm not going to be playing World Cup Fantasy. However, I may come on from time to time to give some insights into the tournament. And if you want me to be like FPL Booner, be a troll and leak out some team news, I'll be more than happy to do so. But I just want to say I absolutely love it. I'm looking forward to more, and especially coming into the Christmas period when there's going to be 3 game weeks. Just bang, bang, bang within a week. Looking forward to it.
It is going to be super exciting, mate. Bang, bang, bang. That is going to be, super exciting kind of time. The Christmas period, Premier League is obviously class, as we know. A lot of football content straight off the back of the World Cup and seeing how it affects the teams. Hoping Liverpool don't pick up anything in the new year and they stay where they are, along with Everton. But that is all from us, guys. Thank you for joining the stream. It's been great to catch up with everyone. We will see you for the World Cup. But good luck in Game Week 16. May all your FPL dreams come true. Take care, and we'll see you next time.